Hello again, now picture number 3 for the Amiga Art Contest. Oh man, I can do words. Now, this one's a bit gratuitous. Eagle-eyed among you will see that that pointer is not even remotely square. Yep, that's because I'm accidentally drawing it in super high res laced, which isn't a, well, it is a thing, but you can only do extra half bright super high res laced on AGA machines, and I didn't even know I had chosen it. Silly me. Oh well. I realised this quite soon and switched it to high res laced, which is the resolution I meant to be drawing it in the first place. Now you'll see the sketch speed and, well, just the general speed of this, it seems like it's a little bit faster than my other videos. That's because this one took much longer to draw than the others. I was just like, I'm gonna draw something related to my game. Why not? It would be cool, a bit like a poster. By the end, I got a bit bored of it. I didn't actually finish it before submitting it, yay. But it's close enough. I can finish the rest in my own time at some point. I'm sure you'll know the feeling when you've spent so long looking at the same damn thing and you're just like, what? Why am I even doing this? So, here's me trying to make people make anatomical sense again. Didn't bother with a sketchy layer as such. It's all sketchy layer, not sketchy layer. You know what I mean. There's no sort of different coloured bit. I know I'm going to be keeping the line art most likely, so just went straight in with black. This is, it genuinely is a fun picture to work on, really. It's just got a little bit, oh, what happened there? Oh yeah, that was when I changed the resolution. I was just like, oh crap, I'm doing it in super high res laced. I realised that I can't actually display that without AGA, so now it's high res laced. This picture really does need the 100% finishing off. It's so close at the end. Oh well. Oh well. You probably have not played the demo of Premiere Hex Knight, but if you want to, feel free. That's not really very good self-promotion at all, is it? You can either get it from my webpage, I'll put the link below, or the demo is actually on Amiga Live, so you can play it in a very easy way using that. Anyone who's followed my comics as well will recognise all these characters. Well, they won't recognise the Green Lady or the giant floating skull, but that's because those have only just turned up in the game. I'm going to completely keep moving bits of her face around because, oh well, yep. Francis's face needs some work. Annabelle's face needs some work. That's Francis being ridiculously buff at the left. The game takes place about 5 or 6 years after any of the comic that I've actually shown people, so that would explain why everyone's significantly different looking. By the time I submitted it, it has a serious case of sausage fingers as well, which is a very easy thing to trap to fall in. But I'll be able to fix it. I don't think anyone's paying attention to the fingers. See, I had to go back in time a bit. Why did I have to go back into... Ah, yes, there was one crash. It crashed once during this picture. And that's the only crash I had through all 3 pictures, so it wasn't the end of the world, but it was a bit strange. I was kind of going for the whole sort of weird ass movie poster type look where it's all a bit not quite this normal style that it's in, but whether or not that came across is anyone's guess. The buildings by the end of it are definitely the most unfinished part. I just left them there in a state of meh. But oh well. In terms of the game's development, it's going well. Obviously, it's going as slowly as you would expect. I'm actually, the ship you can see there in the background, I've been doing the ship levels. Anyone who's been following my video feed will know that trip on a ship does not go entirely according to plan, but there are ship levels to set on or around boats. So those will be fun to show to people soon. I mean, the funny thing about working in a resolution like this is super high res laced, so it's like 4 of the other 2 pictures all stapled together. It's got so much detail that I could be putting in, and I do a fair job of it. You can certainly get away with more sort of painterly stuff the higher the resolution gets, but I'm a little bit of a detail freak. I wouldn't say necessarily a perfectionist, but I don't like leaving things undetailed, so it could be a bit of a problem. I did actually try doing one entry in ArtEffect, because I can use my Wacom tablet in WinUAE, and it was all painterly and it was a bit abstract, but it was just like, no, I'm not enjoying this as much. This is really just the same as how I would work in any modern application, really. So for my use, that doesn't feel any different, and it's not as fun. If I'm going to be doing Amiga pictures, I'm going to do them in an Amiga-y kind of way. There's some pretty whack fire going on, but oh well. By the end of this, Francis has the most not quite right, super distracting abs. I need to fix that, probably. Well, I don't know, maybe distracting abs is alright. It's not. I mean, the good thing about it being like a movie poster or a game box art, they frequently were awful, so it doesn't matter if the anatomy is slightly off. Who cares? Doug's absolutely right. I don't know when it's going to come out. I am still aiming to finish this game next year. It may not happen, and then I'll have, obviously, I'll be talking with BitmapSoft, but I'm fully committed to finishing this damn game. I've never got so far in such a substantial project, probably, that has a fixed end point. It was very good idea to do the world map, so I knew exactly which levels I'd had to make. It is coming along fast. It's a big project to do basically by yourself. What am I doing right now? Oh, I don't know what I was doing there. Maybe I was seeing what would happen if I reduced the palette to like 16 colours or something. And then I thought, it looks crap. So, solved that. That is the mansion. That is going to be some of the most important maps. I haven't started on the mansion map yet. Would you believe that we're only just over halfway through? So what else is there? Well, there's all the bits where the gradients aren't smooth. Gotta do something about those. So, basically a extreme dither fest from now on. Possibly interesting. That's one of the nicest parts of the picture, the weird gradient. Drawing something like this, helps me realize certain relationships between different colors that I would never have really used when doing sprites. But I'm figuring out those relationships and now I can use them. Well, not sprites, glitter objects, game graphics, whatever. Now I know I can do all sorts of strange ramps. I don't think I intentionally made that ramp. That's just kind of a side effect of the extra half bright weird tones appearing. Francis's sausagey fingers. It's really interesting for me trying to do a somewhat different type of shading than I normally do on these characters. So normally they have pretty, well, either full painterly, squiggly shading that I rarely used, or very basic cell shading. And this is somewhere in between. It's a sort of weird thing. I think my sort of two different art styles are slowly becoming one, which is nice. Now, in terms of the keyboard shortcuts I'm using down on the... Oh, actually, that's a good point. You may be thinking, that pink keyboard, that's not an Amiga. In this case, it is. Yeah, it's a wireless keyboard with the little thing that plugs into... It sort of clips on top of one of the chips on the A1200's motherboard. It has a USB port, and on that USB port I have plugged the wireless dongle for this very cheap, very plasticky keyboard. It has spongy keys. They're not great, but who cares? It's not any worse than the Amiga's keyboard, which also is a pretty terrible keyboard. Sorry, Amiga, you're a great little machine, but compared to a mechanical keyboard or most modern ones, they're not perfect, are they? So yeah, what am I doing on that keyboard? I think I probably addressed this before, but mostly hovering over full stop and comma and M. I think you can hold down space to navigate around, much like you do in modern applications. I think you can. I can't remember. It's weird. You just pick up the muscle memory stuff and then don't even realize you're doing it. But more often than not, I use the color picker to pick up colors. That's how I work in whatever I'm using. I rarely navigate over to the palette to pick up colors. That's U to undo. I can't remember what it is to redo. I'd be able to figure it out if I had my Amiga all booted up, but I don't. To be honest, there is something to be said for just leaving things sketchy, but once I've started doing a piece of pixel stuff, I'm not really capable of leaving anything sketchy. I'm no good at that. Oh, there's me getting distracted by a conversation with someone or something. Oh no, not fingernails. Why? Yep, stop talking to someone else, me. Stop it. Stop it. Draw. God damn it. No! I apologise. Right, back to it. At various points, Francis's various purple jackets. He's got shiny ones, he's got sort of less shiny ones. This is one of his more shiny ones. I don't even know what material that's supposed to represent. It looks like it's made of some sort of crazy PVC or something. Ugh. Maybe it's leather. So much saving. Oh, I wasn't paying attention, but look, there's a timer now. So I might as well do that. I probably started it around the 8-hour mark because that's how long the other two pictures took. So I was just like, well, let's see how long this bloody picture's going to take. I don't think it was really testing my patience at this point. By the end of it, it was. Because the only things left is sort of micro details that you wouldn't even necessarily see. Now, this is something that in the comic and the game, to some extent, because everyone's so tiny, I don't tend to do much in the way of muscle definition on my characters, whether they be male or female. So once I started adding just like hyper-defined muscles to Francis, obviously Annabelle needed to have some as well, and now everyone looks sort of in a different sort of space. It's interesting. Oh well. I don't dislike it. Maybe I could draw the comics like, maybe the entire comic could be drawn in this style and it would take me 1,000 years to do a single panel. No, let's not do that. It is odd that these characters, well, now they're in a game. That keeps them alive. The comic starting in some form in the early 2000s, but in its proper form, sort of mid 2000s. These characters still hanging around, hanging in there. Right. Am I going to dither that arm, or am I just going to stare blankly into space? No, I am going to do some dithering. I don't think I do any more detail maybe on the buildings in the background. That is the biggest area that needs work. Sails on that ship. Not dithered enough. Now what am I doing? I am going in to smooth out the detail. I think I'm about to decide that her mouth is in entirely the wrong place. Or have I already done that? I know at one point I'm just like, nah, she's pulling a strange face, and I wasn't intending that to happen. I've probably already fixed it, I just can't tell anymore. It's all just a blur. Yep, lots and lots of colour picking. Pick. In some ways, the skull is the most problematic part for me in terms of actually making it look how I imagine it, because I've got this sort of cartoony idea of what skulls look like, which is not what skulls really look like. I looked at references and I'm just like, well, I don't want it to look like a real skull. I want it to, but at the same time, I want it to look consistent with everything else. There's various skull things in the game, and yeah, none of them are particularly realistic looking. Yeah, that's gonna need some yep. Getting towards wrapping things up now. Sorry there hasn't been as much to say about process on this picture because it's just been straight pixeling. Really isn't that many special techniques or anything, it's just drawing and more drawing. It's like, if I shade them, they won't be as distracting. Wrong, they're even more distracting. Yeah, I could. Nope, try different patterns. It still doesn't work. Fine, let's just shade it in more. Now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And thanks again, and thanks again to Doug and Vicky for running the art contest. That was really fun. And I'll see you next year.